Welcome to the explainer. Okay, picture this. You've packed like an absolute pro. You breeze right through check-in, and you're just about to hit the gate when you hear those six dreaded words. I'm sorry, that bag isn't flying. That nightmare scenario, it isn't just a bad dream anymore. It is the new reality at airports nationwide. The era of flexible travel rules is completely 100% dead. The TSA and major airlines have rolled out a massive wave of updates for 2026, and honestly, the financial stakes are higher than ever. Last-minute gate fees can literally double or triple what you'd normally pay. But hey, don't worry, because you're here, you're about to become the smartest person in the security line. Here's our flight manifest for today. We're going to run through the carry-on crackdown, the personal item problem, smart luggage, battery bans, the whole mess with liquid rules and scanners, and finally, real ID and biometrics. This roadmap is going to keep you from paying hefty gate fees, or even worse, missing your flight altogether. All right, let's dive right into this. First up, the carry-on crackdown and these brutally strict new regulations.
We all know the old habit, right? The bulge. Overstuffing your bag to the absolute limit and just fighting to cram it into the overhead bin. Well, the 2026 reality is all about the sizer. Gate agents are now treating those metal bag sizers not as a polite suggestion, but as absolute law. If your bag doesn't slide into and out of that sizer effortlessly, like no pushing or shoving, it fails. The gate agent has the final say, and they will slap you with a massive, last-minute gate check fee right then and there.
But size isn't the only trap here, folks. 8 to 10 kilograms. That's about 17 to 22 pounds. This is the shocking new, strictly enforced weight limit popping up everywhere, especially on international carriers. And get this, they are catching people by installing digital scales right at the check-in kiosks and boarding gates. If your bag flashes red, you're paying up. What's even wilder is that some airlines are now applying that strict limit to the combined weight of your carry-on and your personal item. So that heavy laptop bag resting on your roller, yeah, that could easily tip you over the edge. So how do we actually beat this? You've got to take action before you even leave your house. First, measure your bag with a physical tape measure. And yes, absolutely include the wheels and the handles. Second, weigh your fully packed bags with a portable luggage scale. And finally, if you're even close to that limit, just repack or pay to check the bag online ahead of time. Doing this at home is going to save you a ton of money and completely prevent a very public shakedown at the gate. Moving on to our second big hurdle, the personal item problem. That savvy traveler's loophole, yeah, it's closing fast. So the crucial point here is summed up perfectly by a very blunt reality check from flight attendants. If it doesn't fit, it's not flying. That oversized backpack or bulky tote bag you've always gotten away with, it's now a prime target for gate agents. In 2026, the element of surprise is what's really getting people. You might breeze right through security without an issue, but if an agent spots your bulky bag at the gate, you'll be frantically trying to shove everything into your main carry-on, which, let's be honest, is probably already overweight, or you're paying another fee. The limits for personal items are strictly capped now, usually right around 18 by 14 by 8 inches, though it can vary slightly by airline, and it absolutely must fit under the seat in front of you. Oh, and here's a huge trap you need to avoid: juggling. If they see you carrying a backpack, a purse, and a shopping bag, they don't see one personal item. They see three. They will force you to consolidate those immediately, or, you guessed it, pay up. The trick is to start treating your personal item like a real piece of luggage with its own rulebook. Look up the exact dimensions for your specific airline before you even start packing. Go for a well-organized laptop bag or a structured backpack. Utilize packing cubes to compress your items. And whatever you do, please do not overstuff the bag so much that the zippers are literally begging for mercy. A bag that looks neat and compact is way less likely to draw a dreadful second glance from a gate agent. All right, next up on the list, smart luggage battery bans. This is a massive crackdown on fire risks. Now, this rule goes from being just a mild inconvenience to a potentially trip-ruining disaster, all because of the very serious fire risks with lithium-ion batteries in the cargo hold. The definition of illegal smart luggage is incredibly strict right now. Any smart bag with a non-removable lithium-ion battery is banned, full stop. It cannot be carried on, and it definitely cannot be checked. If your battery requires tools like a screwdriver to remove, or if you have to unzip the lining and perform actual surgery on your bag to get it out, it is illegal to fly. There was a shocking case recently of a traveler in Atlanta who had to literally abandon her expensive $300 suitcase right at the counter because the battery needed a screwdriver and she was about to miss her flight. Just brutal. And speaking of batteries, lock this number into your memory. 100 watt hours. That's roughly 27,000 milliamp hours. That is the strict limit for power banks and spare batteries. All spare lithium-ion batteries must go in your carry-on. They are absolutely forbidden in checked luggage. Plus, the watt-hour rating must be visibly printed directly on the device. If a TSA agent picks up your power bank and they can't read the label, they have the right to confiscate it right on the spot. Now, what's really interesting about this next part is the sheer chaos of it. Let's talk liquid rules and scanners. Welcome to the highly confusing rollout of new security technology. So, the new CT scanners let you keep your liquids and laptops tucked safely inside your bag, whereas the old scanners demand you take them entirely out. The massive problem right now is the uneven rollout. These new scanners are only at some airports and, honestly, only in some security lanes. There's no universal system yet, so people show up, assume they can leave everything packed, and then end up bottlenecking the entire line when an agent yells at them to unpack everything. The smartest move? Always pack assuming you're going to face an old-school checkpoint. And hey, don't forget the definition of a liquid, because it's still tripping people up every single day. The TSA's rule is totally blunt. If you can spread it, it's a liquid. Yep, that means your peanut butter, your hummus, and even your cream cheese are all subject to the 3.4-ounce limit and must go into a quart-sized bag. There is an exception, though. Medically necessary liquids, like insulin, are completely exempt from this size limit. However, you must explicitly declare them to a TSA officer before your bag hits the X-ray. If you don't, and they spot a giant bottle on the screen, you are guaranteed a time-consuming bag search. Okay, we've covered the bags. Let's move to the final massive hurdle standing between you and your flight: Real ID and biometrics. Let's walk through this timeline together. Pre-May 2025, your standard driver's license was perfectly fine. But as of May 2025, the Real ID requirement went into full effect, meaning your ID absolutely must have a star on it to board a domestic flight. But check out the 2026 twist. The TSA is pushing really hard for biometric screening. Instead of just handing over your license, you step up to a camera, it scans your face, and it matches it against a federal database. When it works, it's lightning fast. When it doesn't, it creates a massive bottleneck. Which leads us to a very important question. What are your rights with biometric screening? I want to reassure you right now. You can absolutely opt out. If you aren't comfortable with facial recognition, just tell the TSA officer you'd prefer a manual ID check. They'll direct you to a different lane. It is your legal right, even if it might take just a few extra minutes. Because technology isn't perfect, you need a set of foolproof backups. Even if you plan on using a super cool mobile ID on your phone, always carry your physical, real ID-compliant card or your passport. Phones die, apps crash, and federal servers go down. The person holding a physical ID will always get through faster than the person furiously tapping a frozen screen. And don't underestimate the power of a printed boarding pass. It's an old-school backup that can literally be a lifesaver. So, to sum up the whole shebang, the era of overstuffing your bag and just hoping for the best is officially over. Smart, prepared travel is the new standard for 2026. Weigh and measure those bags, check your smart luggage batteries, assume the scanners are old, and always carry a physical ID. Following these rules isn't just about avoiding surprise fees, it's about making your whole travel day dramatically smoother and way less stressful. I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. What is the craziest or most frustrating carry-on rule you've ever had to deal with? I really want you to think about your own packing habits and how you're going to adapt to this new reality. Your experiences might just save a fellow traveler from a really costly mistake. Stay prepared, travel smart, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.